Good day, viewers, and welcome to Living Television. Living TV is where we bring the world first to you. Today, we will be looking at a recap of major headlines of national dailies that are penned from last week till date. And then we are going to look at the headlines, through the headlines, because I have some well-versed and educated individuals here. We are going to look into these headlines and look at some of them that have been handled and some of them that we are looking up to, and then how they are being handled. And before I come to my discussions, this is what we'll be looking at. First, today we'll be starting with the Sun newspapers. We have headlines on lesson from Jubilee paid, BOT promises to compensate Ndibo 2023. Who knows what the composition is? Is it Biafra or presidency? And then in the Vanguard, we have on the 13th December 2022, we have Rivers APC swears in excuse and vows to take over state in 2023. And also, in that same Vanguard, we also have Buhari last courage to tackle insecurity in the country. These and many more we are going to bring your way. Just stay tuned and don't go away. From my immediate right is Dr. Eugene Nwaha. Dr. Eugene Nwaha, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Prof. You are welcome, viewers.
And also from my immediate left, I have Comrade Kingsley Mamboro. Comrade, you're welcome.
You're welcome, Prof.
Yeah. From what we have seen today, we are starting with the Daily Sun newspaper for 13th December. There is this caption here that Rivers APC swears in excuse vows to take over state in 2023. And we know, as far as Rivers State is concerned, is a PDP state. And today the APC, in fact, from what is happening, is like they want to make this country a one-party state. So what is your take on that, comrade?
Thank you, Prof. Yeah, APC may be warming up because ordinarily before one gets into anything, you prepare. Swearing in their members and schools to get them to start working in order to dethrone PDP come 2023 is not a bad idea for them. What I'm saying here is that, what have they done? When it was at the federal level, what has APC done? And the few members of them who are in the State of House of Assembly, what have they done in their various constituencies? These are many more what will encourage the electorates to vote them come 2023. It is not about being sworn in and all what they are doing. Because for all I know, Nyesom Wike, the current governor of Rivers State, the platform of PDP, has done marvelously well, and everybody in PDP, even those of them in diaspora, some people in diaspora, are recommending him, since he has already completed he will be completing his 8 years tenure, his second tenure, continuous. I know that he will be needing to pick someone that will also replace him to continue from the good work which has already put in place.
Yeah, comrade, I'll get back to you. You just said something that struck my mind. Talking about an incumbent governor picking a person that will take over from him, it looks as if that is becoming a custom and tradition down here at this part of the globe. Is it supposed to be so, Dr. Eugene?
In fact, it is not supposed to be so. That brings us to the thorny issue of godfatherism in our politics. The governors, outgoing governors, even the president will always like to pick somebody who will succeed him. And from what we have seen in the past 20 years of this democracy, that is from 1999, it has been business as usual. And the aim to cover the godfather and to make sure that the godfather continues to reap from the bounties of the state. So for me, I don't support that idea.
And that is at the detriment of the electorate.
And the masses.
Yes, and comrade, Yeah, you brought up this issue. Do you think it is proper for us to continue that way, and any governor who is leaving will not leave and allow the people? You said this is democracy, the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That is to say, the people should select who they want, who they have considered credible enough, to lead them through, to see them through. And you know what is happening at this part of the globe, that the moment a governor becomes a governor after elected, he becomes a god of his own, and forgetting about the people who elected him. And it has continued because the people are not allowed to make their choice. This idea of godfatherism, like Dr. Eugene would say, how long are we going to continue this way?
When you talk about godfatherism, I must tell you that sometimes godfatherism does not come into play. And when a governor has an administrator has performed outstandingly well, the electorate may want to either vote someone that he has brought or somebody who will replicate or continue from where the person has stopped. And also some other time you see people, trying to impose people on the citizenry or on the electorate. This person must come and succeed me. Godfatherism, so to say, it is not something good, because we really need a change. If somebody has not done something well, we need someone we need an opposition who can come in and do better. But in terms of APC in Rivers State as a case study, so to say, I am saying that Nyesom Wike, even the non-Rivers State indigenes who are plying their trade there, they are singing praises to Nyesom Wike. And I believe if Nyesom Wike brings someone that will succeed him, they will also vote for that person. For what Nyesom Wike has done, they will think that that person he's bringing that will succeed, they will replicate and also continue with the good work of Wike. That is where I may say that yes, PDP may still succeed come 2023 and not APC as they are swearing in their ESCO women of
all right, comrade. I think yes, you have a little point there, because we can agree that Wike is doing wonderfully well, a lot of flyovers, rebuildings, and so on, road construction, and so on. Yes, if you're doing well and then you want to bring in a person, then I don't think the masses will have anything to worry about that. But what about when you are not doing well, when salaries are not paid, nothing is working out? What do you expect? How do you want people to believe that they want to continue in that abject poverty caused by a particular government? I think that is not done. And Dr. Eugene, that is the last we're going to take on this. Just say what you have to say about that so that we go over to the next paper because of our time.
Yes, general agreement that we should do away with godfatherism. Bringing somebody to take up from you is something that is anti-democratic. And it's somebody, for me, I think it's time we stop that kind of practice if we want to move forward in our democracy.
I agree with you. He said it's time we have to stop that practice. Let the people elect who they want and stop giving us those who are going to cover your back. Whoever that goes to equity must go to equity with clean hands. That's what we're saying. The second paper is coming from the also Vanguard of the 13th of December 2020. We are a last courage to tackle insecurity. Viewers, it is obvious that they just ended NSAS protest. We had what happened. Irrespective of those who lost their lives, who say may their soul rest in peace. What we're saying right now, based on this caption from the Vanguard newspaper of 13th December 2020, do you agree with us that, do you agree with the paper that we are a last courage to tackle insecurity? And a lot of people are saying it's as a result of nepotism. When you're talking about nepotism, because all the service chiefs are from one particular ethnic group. And because of this, people are believing that Buhari purposely did. That's why we have a lot of expats from other parts of this country. And a lot of people are arguing that this is the only time in the history of Nigeria where the entire service chief are coming from a particular area of the country, which does not demonstrate Nigerianization at all. And so I'm starting with you, Dr. Eugene. You had it, that we are the last courage to tackle insecurity.
Let me point out one fact. this idea that the whole service chiefs come from one ethnic group is not correct. If you say the whole service chiefs come from one area of the country, I may not know, but be that as it may, the issue before us is the issue of courage of the president to tackle insecurity. And I will agree with the person who made the observation, because we had expected more from Buhari as a president, from the fact that he is a retired military general who has been a commander-in-chief of the armed forces before this time, in the 80s, when he was the president and commander-in-chief. So when he came back on this second missionary journey, the hopes were high on him. And nobody believed that the Boko Haram and the banditry will continue to persist till today, up to the fact that Buhari is visiting his home state, and still the bandits are kidnapping school children simultaneously at the same time when Buhari is at home. So it's a big disappointment, and I think that Buhari has to step up his game if the confidence people have in him will continue. Because for now, everybody looks up to the fact that people are calling for mercenaries to assist in this fight. When you call for mercenaries, it means that you have given up on your own armed forces. And bringing in mercenaries has a lot of its implications. So I think Buhari should brace up. He still has a time between now and 2023 to redeem his image. So that is my take on that.
Yeah, we are really very soon. We're going to go back on break. Shortly after Comrade Morobo, the NSAS, one of their points was that the service chief should all be sacked, and then if some of the 12 points demand they made, they said if it is not met, that Buhari should resign. And then until today, the service chiefs are still there. So is Buhari up and doing in the insecurity of this country?
I must say sarcastically, vehemently, that Buhari has failed Nigerians in terms of security, because the basic and the highest priority of government is to secure her citizens. Buhari has failed in that aspect. Amongst other failures, insecurity in the country has become incredibly alarming. People are being abducted. People are being killed in high numbers. And he feels unperturbed, still seated tight in that high office, doing nothing. Even when it is happening in his own state, some of the happenings happening in his own state. So I think he has failed. Come to think of it, if he got his service chiefs from the northern region and they are not performing well, why does he not take a decision either to disengage them and take people who are up and doing, who will give results, so that the killings will stop? Are these not human lives that are being wasted on a daily basis? School children are being adopted, and everybody goes as if nothing is happening. Buhari has failed as far as security of this country is concerned. And I think he should have a rethink immediately.
Yeah, thank you, Comrade. Viewers, we will be going on a little commercial break. But remember, this is still your darling station, the Living TV. The TV is also a subsidiary of the Living Television Film Academy, where film directors and journalists are trained. You're welcome. We'll be right back, just in a jiffy. Don't touch that there. Viewers, you're welcome back to your darling station, Living TV, where we are looking at a recap of major headlines of last week's newspapers, the dailies, what happened, and what has happened, and the way most of the issues are being treated. And I have able discussants with me who are scholars of their various fields of endeavor. From my immediate right, I have Dr. Eugene Moore. Dr. Eugene, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Prof. Welcome back, viewers.
Also, I still have around me by the left, I have Comrade Kingsley Wamboro. Comrade, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Viewers, you're welcome once again.
All right, the last thing we treated was Buhari lacks courage to tackle insecurity in this country, and scholars have looked into it. They have had their views concerning that. And while we are continuing, we are moving over to the Punch newspaper today. Federal government plans to build 300,000 houses, and it begins this week. This was a report from the Punch newspaper of the 13th December about 300,000 buildings. And then the question will be, who are these buildings meant for? If it is for Nigerians, at what cost? And how is it not going to be the usual way? Because I remember the methodological that is cited somewhere around Gobikobia in Obingwa. It has been there for years. And I'm sure the administration that started it had quoted millions and billions of naira meant for it. Until today, it's not completed. Well, if that is not exactly what is going to happen at these 300,000 houses that the federal government has promised to begin for Nigerians, I think that would be a lot better. You heard about that? And what is your take on this, Comrade Eugene, Comrade Kingsley?
Yeah, I must say that one of the priorities of the government is to provide shelter for the citizenry. And if the Buhari administration is gearing up to start the construction of 300,000 buildings, it is a welcome development that had been long expected. But since it's coming up now, I think I should say we welcome it. But I have my curiosity and concern somewhere. Is it not going to be the same way they erect structures and before you know it, their tenures are over, they go, and those buildings are there, some of them are dilapidated. You go to some places, you see some abandoned projects that are taking millions of naira, billions of naira, but not still being useful for anybody. I hope they are going to build that is accepted. I have one spirit in me to accept what have been promised to me. Once that promise is good, I claim it. We welcome it. But are they going to ration it? How are they going to ration these 300,000 buildings? How many states are going to benefit? Are they going to take it to the northern part? As usual, where everything are going. That's where everything is going now. Everything goes there. Or are they bringing it commonly and they make it at equity that everybody will benefit from it? If everybody will benefit from it and they're going to complete the project, we welcome it. Shelter is one of the responsibilities of government.
Oh yeah, that's a very big pose of viewers out there. Is it going to be business as usual? And who are going to be the beneficiaries of these 300,000 buildings? Is it going? Where is it starting from? Is it from the east, from the north, or from the west, or from the south? Where is it starting from? That is 1 million question. And not just that. And wherever it's starting, will it be completed and delivered before the end of this tenure? Because there is one huge thing about this country. Whatever, whether it is the state or the federal, whatever thing anyone starts, as soon as he leaves office, his opponent finds it difficult to continue from there. And that is no continuity in government. Like the methodological I talked about has lasted for so many years, and that is happening. Even the new site of the Nigerian Institute for National Institute for Nigerian Languages, it has been there for long, approved and so on. And before you know it, you discover that it's not going to be completed. But this one, we are very optimistic about it, and we believe. And Dr. Eugene Wah.
Yeah, I think you have made the point. What people want is project deliver, not just something on the pages of newspapers as we are reading them. And like the comrade said, we need houses. Recently, there has been an increase in the cost of cement from 2,500 to around 4,000. So that makes one to be worried. But these housing units are put at 2 million naira per unit. And with the rising cost of cement, which is a major ingredient in construction, I don't think these houses will be delivered. So let us just watch and see. But the federal government should work on the cement aspect of the building so that the prices of cement can come down to enable people to participate in the provision of houses.
Yeah, that is very important. I think you also made a very wonderful point there. It's not about building houses and giving to people. 300,000 houses may not be enough for all Nigerians who are not housed anywhere, but they're making sure that the economy is better for every person. To afford a bag of cement is also very important. So by that, I think Dr. Eugene Moha is appealing to the federal government to see what they can do to ensure that the prices of cement comes down. Yeah, having taken that, right, still on the Punch newspapers, it says give priority to agriculture. Minister advises Nigerians. Give priority to agriculture. I think what the minister here is talking about is diversification. Before now in this country, it has always been the oil and oil. The crude oil is up, the crude oil is down, oil subsidy, and thus. And because of this, I think and it is because of this oil that has so puffed up our politicians and so on, make us money bags. And then every person wants to be there, do or die, whether you know what to do or not. You want to be elected into one office or the other, even when you don't have what it takes to be there. And because of this, there is need for diversification. And it's like the oil is about failing us. So let me start with you, Dr. Eugene. Do you think it means anything for us to diversify?
Yes, Prof. I think agriculture is the key, and we know that agriculture is the foundation of all development because we need food, shelter, and clothing, according to the United Nations, as the basic needs of man. But my take on this is that it's time now for Nigeria to mechanize agriculture, because it is only through mechanization that we can feed this nation successfully. And we need to add value to our agricultural products, not just producing them. So we have to move away from the idea that everybody must be a farmer. Very few people can feed this nation if agriculture is mechanized. We don't need to say everybody must carry a hoe and a knife and return to land as we were thinking before. In other places, in the US and other places, it's only about 4% of the population that are farmers. And the farm population grew enough food to feed 300 million people, 1 billion people in China, more than 1 billion in India. So we have to take a look at mechanization, get our farms properly mechanized, and ensure that we process our crops so that we don't lose them.
All right, Dr. Eugene Moha is talking about mechanization. When the minister is talking about shifting to agriculture, seeing agriculture as a priority, placing it as number one. And yet, yes, I think it should be. Yeah, you're talking about mechanization. Comrade Kingsley Wambro, what is your take on these agricultural priority?
Yeah, agriculture, food is important too. Everybody likes to eat. Just like my doctor rightly said, everybody cannot go to farm. It is actually embarrassing that this country is talking about shifting from crude oil that everybody has depended on for, resources as our major source of income to come into to diversify and come into agriculture. It's rather coming too late, because if we had done that when the crude oil's price was high, by now we would have known where we were. And we are going to start talking about going into agriculture now. We're already hungry. But all right, no problem. Agriculture. If everybody goes into, if a good number of people goes into agriculture, and the government provides an enabling environment for this so-called agriculture to, be done, I believe strongly that some people will not even want to go into politics.
All right.
Because when you produce enough food that people can buy and be exported, people and you make money from it, many people will not want to come.
Well, let me take it from there, comrade. Yes, you made a point that if you said if the government, if the federal government will give agriculture and those who are directly involved in enabling environment, a lot of people will not be scouting, even those who knows what leadership is and those who do not know want to be. Why? Because nature avoids vacuum. If you are not here, you must be there. Then, when you talk about agriculture, shortly before the importation, the stopping of the importation of the rice and so on, we heard about Abakaliki rice. We know that a few years back, rice, when the foreign yards was even 7,500 to 8,000. But today, even the Abakaliki rice, that is just our neighbors here. You can't afford it without about 20-something thousand naira. And so, one would, like a lot of writers have said, was Mr. President not in a haste to have stopped importation of rice when we are not ready with our own local rice? That's the
There's no time we'll be ready with local rice. I think the stoppage of importation of rice was a good policy because necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. So what they could have done was to back it up with mechanization. The moment you stop importation, you bring in machineries and people will go into full-scale rice production. So people who criticize the closure of the border and so on may not understand the intricacies. I think even China at a point to close their borders. For you to become a manufacturer of any product at all, you must stop its importation. You can't continue importing and think that the people will still produce. What government should do now is to mechanize rice production, since it has become one of our staple food, and to ensure that we produce enough and eventually stop importation completely.
All right. Looking at that, I want to come to you, comrade. From what you said, it was a very wonderful policy for Mr. President to have stopped importation of rice. But looking at the country as a test, when you talk about the Western world, there is a consideration for even the commonest man. And now we are talking about minimum wage, which is just about 30,000 naira. And then all of us go to the market, even the senators and the Federal House of Members, governors, who take billions or millions of naira a month, and yet others are paid 30,000 a month. All of us go to the same market. What is your take on that? Is this policy going down well with our people?
Yeah, it's not really going down with our people. Before the closure of the borders, there should have been a structure put in place to make sure that people are trained and the provisions of the farming equipments are provided for the farmers. But since it has happened this way, we will not fold our arms and be hungry. We have to provide and make a headway how to fetch ourselves what to eat. Me, in my own way, I produce yam. And when I have enough yam produce,
no wonder you addressed this way.
My children need rice. And I say, children, you people cannot buy rice. You can see the astronomical cost of a rice. Take this tuber of yam and make your food. It has satisfied the hunger. So what I'm saying is that everybody should be encouraged. Let us not sit back and watch the government make their mistakes, and we suffer their mistakes. We will suffer the mistakes of the government. So we should also try as much as possible within ourselves to help ourselves by going into agriculture, no matter how minor and no matter how local, so only just to produce for ourselves what to eat. The government that has closed the borders stopped the importation of rice, so that when we produce what to eat, when we are hungry, we will not bother ourselves with the closure of the border and the stoppage of the rice importation.
All right, viewers, we will be going on a short commercial and we'll be back. As soon as we're back, we're going to take one or two foreign scenes, and after that, we'll take Pepe's Delis on the 12th of this December, still last week. And I think we'll be concluding on that. Just stay tuned and don't touch the dial. We'll be right back. It's still your darling TV, Living Television. Viewers, you're welcome back to a recap of our major headlines of our dailies of last week. And we do this to help you look at some of the issues you already going to know, some of them that the government are looking into. And we have erudite scholars here who are doing justice to most of these topics. And then, like we said, that as soon as we come back, we're going to look into a few foreign scenes and you know the trending news today as it concerns the United States of America presidential election and also the Trump's headiness of not accepting to have been won or defeated. And what is Joe Biden doing about it? All right, today, still on the Sun newspaper for 13th, we have a topic here. Lesson from U.S. 2020 presidential election. Lesson. What do you think this lesson will be? I want to start with you, comrade. What do you think this lesson will be? Is it that, what lesson are we learning? That Donald Trump is coming down and Joe Biden will be sworn in, or has the Electoral College decided otherwise? Even at that, I will also want you to address this issue. Oh, okay, just take that while Doc will take the other one.
Yeah, the lessons are very obvious. Right from the inception around 1757, when America was the inception of America, the Democrats and that of the Republican, there has never been such volume of fraud during the election. It has never ever happened. It's happening. But I'm not surprised that it is happening, because Trump, so to say, stands for light. And America does not want the world, the sinful world does not like light. Gay marriage is taught. Marrying cats, marrying dogs, marrying others, that was already in place before he came in. He put stop to those things. And you think he will continue? And also the malpractices in the electoral process. These are the problems that Trump is facing. And being that the college, which is the institution that is being depended on to give the valid results regarding the election, has come to say that Trump has no stand. What I should ask him to do is to give peace a chance, because there is nothing else he's going to do about it. The election was misappropriated. It was full of malpractices, but he is not going to cause any war. Like the former president of Nigeria advised him to give peace a chance, the way he also gave peace a chance when he didn't want to go into what has happened and what has transpired while the Buhari, even with his power of incumbency, he was defeated by Buhari. He left the office, sworn in Buhari. So he is also encouraging, and I'm also encouraging Trump to do the same, because that is what he has to do. But
well, on the Vanguard newspaper of also 12, since we are treating this forensic, let's finish with it and go over to the few others on the 12th. All right, this one says no hope for Trump as Texas loses case of Supreme Court. Is that the only way? Was Texas the only hope, Dr. Eugene?
Trump himself has been called upon to substantiate his claims of fraudulent election. And both the courts and the institutions and they have not seen where this fraud is talking about or where they emanated. Because the issue of electronic voting has been in the U.S. for a very long time. And Trump has not been able to show in clear terms that the elections were manipulated against him or against his Republican Party. Now, be that as it may, I think the major lesson we should learn from what happened in the U.S. is the issue of having strong institutions that can withstand the whims and caprices of individuals, say some states. And this kind of institution does not exist in Nigeria. If it were in Nigeria, what happened in the U.S. could have led to a major problem, a major disaster. But you can see now that the various institutions have been able to absorb the shock that came from that election, this 2020 election. What Trump is doing has happened before in the history, where the president refused to hand over. So what they did was since he refused to leave the office left him. And that is what will happen to Trump if he continues the way he's going. Because gradually now, both security officers, the media, and everybody will leave him and face the president-elect, Joe Biden.
Sorry, bro, from what you told us, his hope is not majorly on that,
Texas. He was thinking of Nevada and Pennsylvania, and he also lost in those two areas, in those two states. These are major states that have block electoral votes. You know, they have majority votes. They have also the electoral college.
All right, that's the much we're going to take on as it concerns Trump. Well, the Christians also, because a lot of Christians are really praying so seriously for Trump to win, you know, because of his promise to ensure that most of the negative things happening down here, you know, especially the killings of the insurgents, you know, majorly against Christians. Well, whatever happens, if it is Joe Biden, congratulations. If at the end of the day there is a miracle for Donald Trump, congratulations as well. All right, still on the Vanguard newspaper for the 12th, we are done with the 13th. We are now going over to 12th. That is Saturday newspapers. Right, still on the Vanguard newspapers. Our missing link, APC chieftain speaks on Buhari's change of mind on House of Representatives invitation on a call for resignation. US, the question becomes, as a president of the country and you are summoned by a body, you know, that is supposed to be part of what happens in the country. Is it wrong? Is it right or wrong to turn it down, no matter what it is? A lot of people are of the view that a constitution empowers him to say no, and the other legal luminaries will tell you that he has no right to say no once he's summoned by these lower chambers. So let me start with you, Dr. Eugene.
I think the issue of summoning the president is already covered in Section 88 and Section 89 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. I think the problem is with the word of summon. If he has been invited, then it's a different issue. But legally speaking, the Attorney General was right to say that the House of Reps had no powers within the Constitution anyway to summon the president. And moreover, the issue at stake is that of security. And when security is not just an issue that can be discussed in that forum, as people may think about it, where the president will be asked questions, even from the opposition, from anywhere, on how security is being managed. No country does that. So what I will say is that there are more better ways of dealing with this matter than insisting that the president must be summoned or must appear before the House of Representatives.
Before I come to you, comrade, I also want us to understand the difference between the proper grammar and also jargon. You know, we have there is no profession without a jargon.
Yes.
And then that summoning might still mean invitation, but because it could be a legal jargon, yes, you know, for inviting Mr. President. But the most important thing, whether it is invitation or summon, it is all about asking the president to come and iron out one or two issues. In the first place, do the federal house of this country, do they have such right to invite the Mr. President? Comrade.
They have the right, just like the doctor has said. They have the right to invite him. I shouldn't use the word. The word someone looks outrageous and looks forceful. Looks a little bit forceful. It looks like a command. And commanding the chief executive officer, the president of the country, You are commanding him using the word, we are summoning you. I think the appropriate word there is invitation. He was invited. And he also has, that law there has a clause. It's either he agrees to honor the invitation or he disagrees. And since he has disagreed, we should not continue to deal with the invitation, coming or not coming, and things are happening. We should only look for a way, just like Doctor has rightly said, to make sure we checkmate. We look at what to do to make sure that the insecurity is tackled. So whichever way they can work with him, because they are the legislature. This one is the executive. The legislature and the executive, they work together. They work in synergy to provide good governance to the citizenry. So they are not out of it. They are also held responsible. They look for a way. They go to Aso Rock. Don't they go to Aso Rock? Let them go to Aso Rock and meet him. If Muhammad cannot see mountain, let the mountain go to Muhammad.
All right.
Whichever way.
Yeah.
They should see him and do the needful.
All right. What we are talking about is it still boils down to the level of insecurity in the nation. And then if the federal house wants to do something about it, if Mr. President has refused to avoid being impeached at the floor of the house, who knows? And then they can equally go to him and also iron out certain issues. He's going out or asking him to resign at this point. I don't think it is even the best. I really want him to complete his tenure. It's just by the corner. And then let us also see what has happened. Just like Dr. Eugene said, as a retired military person who had fought wars, who knows what security is all about, it's unfortunate that these things are happening. Or maybe he has a plan. While we are waiting, let us also go over to Punch of the 12th December, that is on Saturday. Governor of Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu, tested positive of COVID-19. Is COVID real? Is it still existing? Has it gone like a lot of people allege? The answer is no. COVID-19 is real. And so whatever you do, you have to protect yourself. And the governor of a state, that's what this one is saying. He said, has it. Doctor, is COVID still existing?
Yes, it is. It is. It's not only the governor alone. We have a report now that about 30 generals in the Nigerian army has also fallen to COVID-19. Like you pointed out, I think we better start to take this COVID more seriously. We dealt with Ebola and succeeded in getting it down. COVID is more complex. So Nigerians should forget this conspiracy theory that this thing doesn't exist. Some people want to make money with it and so on and so forth. The governor of Lagos State getting it. It's even unexpected because his commissioner for health has fallen to COVID-19 sometime. So everybody should go back to the basis as recommended by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and make sure that this second wave, which you have seen has happened in many parts of Europe, France is on lockdown, India is on lockdown, many of them. So we need to go back and ensure that we maintain those conditions that has kept us safe till this time. So for me, COVID is real.
Yeah, comrade, if you look at what is happening around our markets everywhere in this town, in Aba, it's only few persons that you see with their face mask, and then the idea of washing our hands daily is not happening. What is your advice to our people concerning this coronavirus?
Yeah, coronavirus is real. If it is people in the diaspora, in the Western countries like America, UK, everywhere, the foreigners are suffering from COVID-19, and some of them are dying and some are being treated. So I have no reason to give any doubt regarding the true existence of COVID-19. I strongly believe that it exists. Now, when you go to market, like me, I come from Ngwa land, and we have two very big markets, Oriente and Guamochi. When you go there and see the number of people who come into the market, they buy, they sell, they come very close, they speak very close to each other, and yet you don't hear this person is ill and the person has contacted. Even your mothers, your sisters, your brother, those of them in the village who don't get it. But when you hear these things, it's as if you ask yourself, how does COVID-19 exist? But it really exists. The governor has just contracted it. So I think this thing we are doubting, and we think it hasn't come to us. It's high time we started taking some measures to avoid it before it really comes to us. We will not wait until we die, until we contract it before we take precautionary measures. I think we should start taking those measures into consideration provided by NCC. So I think we should continue to use the face mask as we were using before, and also the washing of hands at every point in time, and also the social distancing, burial and all what have you. We should start doing that, so that even if it is not real, we have nothing to lose when we do these things. I tell my wife, if you are going out, wear your face mask. If you're going to after the dust that erupts from the ground as people march, you inhale it, it causes you a respiratory problem. So we lose nothing when we wear our face mask. If we are not wearing it for COVID-19, we are wearing it to protect our respiratory tract, our nose, so that we don't inhale something that will cause respiratory tract infection. So I think it is good, a welcoming development, that we go back to using and observing those measures to checkmate.
Yeah, what we are saying is also government, that the need for this awareness, to continue with awareness, is also very, very important. A lot of people are losing it. Why are they doing this? Because they think it has come and gone. And because of the African man's hard skin, especially down here in Aba, and they think it is impossible for us to have it. And especially when you don't have your neighbor who has it and so on. But we know God is protecting us. We also have to protect ourselves. Remember, wear your face mask, wash your hands regularly, especially on the running tap, and also remember social distancing. Look at the way we're sitting here. We are not too close to each other, just to ensure that who knows. So having said that, we are still on the 12th December on the Punch newspaper. ICC probe, ignore wicked distraction, Buratai charges troops. This is ICC's international criminal court that took it upon themselves to try most of the irregularities that is happening within our Nigerian soldiers, troops, and so on, the brutality, and also that has happened as a result of these insurgents, protections, and so on. And then, if they are taking up this, every other person would have believed that it is the right thing to do. But for the chief of army staff, Buratai, to say that the army should ignore that and call it a distraction, I don't know. What's your take on that, comrade?
Yeah, Buratai asking his troops, that is the military troops, to concentrate on fighting the insurgents instead of listening to what the International Criminal Court is saying. It's wrong, totally wrong. Because when you have committed an offense, you should go in and answer for it. The brutality, the indiscriminate killing at the Lekki toll gate. You don't think when you have committed a crime, you go home and say it's over. Lives were wasted. Homes have lost human beings. So they have committed an offense. A serious offense for that matter, by killing human beings. So as they are also beefing up the security measures, they should also answer for the crime they have committed against humanity. So it is not a wicked distraction. It is not distraction.
All right.
They should answer.
All right. Look, considering what happened even at that Lekki shootings, and even CNN coming in with clips of what actually happened, and the armies are no more denying that they didn't do that. Do you think it is proper for even the whole army chief of staff to say it is a wicked distraction to bring the killers to book?
No, it's not. It's not. For me, in any military engagement, there are rules of engagement. And those rules of engagement must be obeyed. There's even a rule that says you don't shoot a withdrawing army. You don't shoot them at the back, in as much as they are your enemies. So what I would say is that the Chief of Army Staff should take a second look at what ICC is saying to make sure that discipline and the rules of engagements are followed. And you see, even the Chief of Army Staff, I'm sorry to say that many people are fed up with what people have been calling for is that he should give way for people who have fresh ideas to look into this problem. So I don't think his suggestion is welcome in the light of the fact that Nigerians have been calling that he should make way for other people with fresh ideas to deal with this problem. Having been there for well over 5 years now, and we are not getting close to any solution. So I think the ICC now should come in fully and make sure that these soldiers don't disobey those rules of engagement.
Yeah, I also think that it is very, very improper to have said that, because it will mean encouraging it means encouraging the soldiers, or even the brutality that is going on with the Nigerian police and so on. It means encouraging them to go ahead with such. You know. So, but when one or two are set as an example, as a deterrent, and I'm sure others are going to learn from it. Yes. So, no human life is worthless. No. As yours is important to you and your family, that's how one does. Even there are families where imbeciles are very important, you know, because all they're looking for is a human being. So, having said that, today we'll be taking the last, will be from the Sahara Reporters of the 13th December also, and that's the last we're going to look at today. President Buhari sacks NDDC MD, appoints Awa Effiong as the new head of the agency for financial misappropriation of 81 billion naira. Wow. You know, before now it has been a trending news with even the then beloved Senator Akpabio and so on. The Senate summoned them sometime. But today Mr. President has come up with something, sacking the MD and also appointing a new one. Let me start with you, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Prof. The NDDC has been a major source of concern for everybody. So the sacking of the MD is something that is long awaited. All of us saw the drama that took place, the faintings and all the rest of them, and the popular cliche now that you should off your mic. It's okay, Minister, off your mic. So the issue is that the NDDC became a very huge disappointment to the people it is meant to serve. From what we saw, the financial dealings in the NDDC, it shouldn't just be sacking of the MD. I think most of them there should face prosecution so that they can account. Because without accounting for financial mismanagement, this country can go nowhere. And corruption, insecurity, and economy are the three principal pillars on which this president came to power. So we are looking forward that corrupt officials, be it in NDDC or elsewhere, should be brought to book so that other people can learn their lessons, because with the high level of corruption, the country cannot develop.
All right, Doc, that's a wonderful one. And then, comrade, now, misappropriation, financial misappropriation of 81 billion naira. Since the man has been sacked, has he been settled with the 81 billion naira? Is he going to refund this, or is it going to end at that sack?
Thank you, Prof. The truth about it is that I am actually disappointed in the first place. When these monies are mentioned, it doesn't look as if it's 81 naira or 81,000 naira. talking about 81 billion naira.
Not million.
If this money is shared to some Nigerians, those that got it will do something meaningful with it. If it is used, if it is appropriated into ensuring steady power supply, we will make a headway. But it's unfortunate. Well, I have my concern over APC government. When they came into power, like Dr. rightly said, they said they were going to abolish anything corruption. Adezan, the former
Petroleum Minister.
Yes, sorry, comrade. I was just going to come into that before we leave for today, because I really want us to draw a balance. You are still going to continue, from where you stopped. But I want us to look at the corruption we are seeing now compared with what Jonathan was accused. Where do we have more corruption? Let us be sincere to ourselves.
I thank God that Buhari, when he came into power, he said he was going to change corruption. Change what? Corruption. Change everything that PDP has caused to the country. But they are still corrupt themselves. And I thank God that it is on paper that an APC appointee, someone that was appointed by the APC to oversee the affairs of NDDC, is found guilty of misappropriation of a whopping 81 billion naira. And it is on air, on the paper, that he is being sacked for that crime. That is to say that they have not chosen the credible people in the first place to be in the helm of affairs, to help them put a change to the corruption practices of the past government of PDP. They are also appointing thieves and people who are eating money unnecessarily. So it should not end at that, just like what Dr. rightly said. It's not supposed to end at that. He has to come and answer, not just to answer, but return the money. The whole money should be returned for better use somewhere.
All right, thank you, Doc. Before we go for today, one writer, also a comedian, once said, if Jonathan was corrupt and the bag of rice was at 7,500 and 8,000 respectively, and dollar was almost equal to naira, and also pump price for fuel was 60 something naira or 70 something naira, that it's better we continue with that level of corruption. What would you say to that?
No level of corruption is good, because it may be the foundation laid by Jonathan that is putting us where we are today. So all forms of corruption should be condemned, no matter the administration, even if it is coming from your younger brother who is in power. But what I will have to say is that this government should step up in the fight against corruption. That is part of the reason why Nigerians invited Buhari to come to power. They should step up. Even the Diziani issues you have seen, nothing prevents us from bringing Diziani back, just like Maina was brought back from Niger Republic. Nothing prevents us, because these are the people that have placed this country on its knees where we are today. So at any point in time when people steal money, the ripple effect is continuous and it keeps the economy down. So nobody should say this happened under Jonathan, this happened under this happened. Even the money Abacha took, the Abacha loot, way back 23 years ago, is still having effect on us.
Yes.
So we cannot excuse anybody because rice was this. Therefore, you keep looting the money because fuel was at this price. Therefore, you keep stealing the money. All those people who stole money, even under Magu as EFCC chairman, they should be brought to book so that return the money, like the comrade said. They should face the music so that this country can bounce back again. If this thing continues like this, we are heading for a total collapse and bankruptcy.
Yeah, that is if we are not collapsing already. Viewers, there is just one little question somebody asked, and I will also want to ask it in this platform. I'll be giving it to Comrade. Somebody said that some many years ago, this country started their budget with millions of naira. After a while, it became billions of naira. Today, it is trillions of naira, and yet nothing has actually changed. And even within that period, we remember when we said when we had this slogan, "Ghana must go." Ghana must go. We remember the apartheid in South Africa. Also, Nigerian assisted in all this. And yet today, these countries are far better than this country. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, when something is wrong or something is not going on well, the best thing to do is to readjust and redress it. The country is in total mess, financially, many other ways. Inflation is on the increase on a daily basis. What we need to do is I think we should go for restructuring, decentralization. Let us come together. It is not what Igbos will say, the Westerners will say, the Northerners will say. Let everybody unanimously come together and say what we want. What is good for these people, what is good for this, and what is good for that. We really need to restructure the country so that we look into the areas things are not going on well. If it's within the north, we do it there. The south, the west, we do it there. Because since we are living as an integrated country, everything should be commonly and should be at equity.
All right, viewers, thank you very much. Everything should be commonly, should be in equity. And that is the much we are going to take for today. We will be coming your way every week. You will be knowing everything that happened in Delhi's. A recap of the Delhi's of the past weeks to know the ones the governments have attended to, and also what our viewers and what our discussants also will say about it. And also your personal view about it also is important. You can always write to us at Living TV. You will always get us. Living TV is at #1 George Street, opposite Eziama Police Station, adjacent to EEDC in Aba here. So you can always get to us, and you are going to see our phone numbers as they roll in the screen. You can also call. Send your details here. We'll always be here for you. Remember also, Living TV is also a subsidiary of a Living TV Film Academy, where filmmakers and journalists are trained. You're welcome. Thank you until the same time next time.